Philip K. Dick biography. Philip K. Dick was an American science fiction author who wrote extensively on themes of reality, identity, and the nature of consciousness. His work is known for its dark and often paranoid tone, as well as its exploration of complex philosophical ideas. Dick was born in Chicago, Illinois, in 1928. He began writing fiction in his early 20s, and his first story was published in 1952. He quickly established himself as a leading figure in the science fiction genre, and his work has been adapted into numerous films and television shows, including Blade Runner, Total Recall, and Minority Report. Dick struggled with mental illness throughout his life, and his work often reflects his own personal struggles with reality and identity. He died in 1982 at the age of 53. Simulacra overview. Simulacra is a science fiction novel by Philip K. Dick, first published in 1964. The novel is set in a near future where reality has become increasingly blurred with simulation. The protagonist, Rick Deckard, is a bounty hunter who is tasked with hunting down and retiring replicants, which are artificial humans that are almost indistinguishable from real people. The novel explores themes of identity, reality, and the nature of consciousness. Deckard is constantly questioning his own reality and the reality of the world around him. He is also forced to confront the ethical implications of creating artificial life. Rising action. The rising action of the novel begins when Deckard is assigned to retire 4 replicants who have escaped from a space colony. Deckard tracks the replicants down to Los Angeles, where he begins to investigate their motives. He soon learns that the replicants are searching for a way to extend their lifespans, and that they may have discovered a way to do so by accessing a secret government program called the NEXUS-6. Apex. The apex of the novel occurs when Deckard confronts the replicants in a final showdown. Deckard manages to defeat the replicants, but he is also forced to confront his own mortality. He realizes that he is not as different from the replicants as he thought he was. Falling action. The falling action of the novel sees Deckard coming to terms with his own reality and the reality of the world around him. He realizes that there is no clear line between reality and simulation, and that the nature of consciousness is more complex than he had previously thought. Devices to pay attention to. While listening to Simulacra, there are a few devices that readers should pay attention to. The use of mirrors and reflections. Mirrors and reflections are often used in the novel to represent the blurring of reality and simulation. For example, Deckard often sees himself reflected in windows and mirrors, but he is never sure if he is looking at himself or at a replicant. The use of language. Dick uses language in a very complex and deliberate way in Simulacra. He often uses puns, double meanings, and other rhetorical devices to create a sense of unease and confusion in the reader. The use of symbolism. Dick uses symbolism throughout the novel to explore his themes of identity, reality, and the nature of consciousness. For example, the replicants can be seen as symbols of the potential dangers of technology, while the Nexus 6 program can be seen as a symbol of the human desire to control and manipulate nature. Simulacra is a complex and challenging novel, but it is also a rewarding one. Readers who are willing to pay attention to the devices that Dick uses will be rewarded with a rich and thought-provoking experience. Chapter Summary. Chapter 1. Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter known as a Blade Runner, is assigned to retire 4 replicants who have escaped from a space colony. Replicants are artificial humans that are almost indistinguishable from real people, but they have a limited lifespan of 4 years. Chapter 2. Deckard tracks the replicants down to Los Angeles, where he begins to investigate their motives. He learns that the replicants are searching for a way to extend their lifespans, and that they may have discovered a way to do so by accessing a secret government program called the NEXUS-6. Chapter 3. Deckard meets with Rachel Rosen, a replicant who is unaware of her true nature. Rachel is being used by the Tyrell Corporation, the company that created replicants, to test the Voight-Kampff test, a test that is used to distinguish between humans and replicants. Chapter 4. Deckard meets with J.F. Sebastian, a brilliant but mentally unstable scientist who lives in a squalid apartment complex called the Bradbury Building. Sebastian is obsessed with creating artificial humans, and he has created a group of lifelike dolls that he calls his friends. Chapter 5. Deckard confronts Roy Batty, the leader of the replicants. Batty is a powerful and intelligent replicant who is determined to extend his lifespan. Chapter 6. Deckard tracks down the other replicants, Pre Stratton, Zora Salome, and Leon Kowalski. He defeats Pre and Zora, but Leon escapes. Chapter 7. Deckard confronts Leon at Sebastian's apartment. Sebastian is killed in the ensuing fight, and Deckard is badly wounded. Chapter 8. Roy Batty rescues Deckard from Leon and offers to help him find a way to extend his lifespan. Deckard refuses, and Batty kills him. Background of key characters. Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter who is tasked with hunting down and retiring replicants. Deckard is a complex and conflicted character who is struggling to come to terms with his own mortality and the nature of reality. Rachel Rosen, a replicant who is unaware of her true nature. Rachel is intelligent and compassionate, but she is also deeply troubled by her identity. J.F. Sebastian, a brilliant but mentally unstable scientist who is obsessed with creating artificial humans. Sebastian is a lonely and isolated figure who finds solace in his friends. Roy Batty, the leader of the replicants. Batty is a powerful and intelligent replicant who is determined to extend his lifespan. He is also a tragic figure who is struggling to find his place in the world. Themes. Simulacra explores a number of complex themes, including identity. Deckard is constantly questioning his own identity and the identity of the people around him. This is because the line between humans and replicants is becoming increasingly blurred. Reality. Dick explores the idea that reality is not always what it seems. The novel is full of mirrors and reflections, which can be seen as symbols of the blurring of reality and simulation. The nature of consciousness. Dick explores the question of what it means to be conscious. He suggests that consciousness is not unique to humans, and that it may be possible for artificial beings to be conscious as well. Simulacra is a thought-provoking and challenging novel that explores some of the most fundamental questions about human existence. It is a novel that will stay with you long after you finish reading it.
What is the difference between Simulacra by Philip K. Dick and the book of philosophy called Simulacra and Simulation, which was published after Dick's Simulacra? The first Matrix movie shows Neo in his famous apartment 101 taking out of a hollowed out simulacra and simulation computer hacks or downloaded barred LLM Python hacks in a jurisdiction they are not allowed. Does the Matrix use agents as Deckard and Zionists as replicants?
Simulacra by Philip K. Dick is a science fiction novel about a bounty hunter who is tasked with hunting down and killing artificial humans. The novel explores themes of identity, reality, and the nature of consciousness. Simulacra and Simulation by Jean Baudrillard is a philosophical treatise on the nature of reality in the postmodern world. Baudrillard argues that reality has become increasingly mediated and artificial, and that we are living in a world of simulacra, or copies without originals. The two books share some similarities, but they also have important differences. Dick's novel is a work of fiction, while Baudrillard's book is a work of philosophy. Dick is concerned with the individual's experience of reality, while Baudrillard is concerned with the larger social and cultural implications of the postmodern condition. The first Matrix movie does show Neo taking out a hollowed-out copy of Simulacra and Simulation, but it is unclear what this means. It could be a reference to the fact that the Matrix itself is a simulacrum, or it could be a more general comment on the nature of reality in the postmodern world. It is also possible that the agents in the Matrix are analogous to Deckard in Dick's novel. Both Deckard and the agents are tasked with enforcing the boundaries between reality and simulation. However, Deckard is ultimately questioning his own reality, while the agents seem to be completely convinced that the Matrix is the real world. The Zionists in the Matrix could be analogous to the replicants in Dick's novel. Both the replicants and the Zionists are artificial beings who are struggling to find their place in the world. However, the replicants are more sympathetic characters than the Zionists, who are portrayed as being more dangerous and violent. Overall, The relationship between Simulacra by Philip K. Dick, Simulacra and Simulation by Jean Baudrillard, and the Matrix movie is complex and nuanced. There are some similarities between the three works, but there are also important differences. It is up to the individual reader or viewer to decide what these similarities and differences mean.